Hi, Dr. Shah here, and welcome to another episode on Teaching Humanity Remotely. Today, I want to talk to you about being economical and using your energy wisely. Sometimes we just overspeak and then we're just wasting our energy and it's falling on deaf ears, so to speak, and how we're heard maybe by our children is wop, 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 wop. So, how do we know when to speak and when not to speak? And once again, it comes to observation and being present to the situation and knowing who to talk to and what to say what with. And it's not telling the truth to use your energy wisely. It's just knowing your audience. And we need to teach our children so that they don't feel invalidated or disrespected, that they could feel that we show up differently in different situations. And it doesn't mean we're not true. It's just that I need to learn when I share something and when I hold back, depending on who I'm speaking with. I'm not going to be the same with a true best friend than I am with a superficial acquaintance, and yet I'm going to meet acquaintances, and it doesn't mean I'm not being true to myself. I'm just behaving the way the situation dictates, and I know what it dictates because I'm present and I'm observing how to respond. So using your energy wisely is very important, and knowing when to stay silent, even when you have much to say, is a practice of discernment. I need to be intelligent about how I use my limited amount of energy. Again, it goes back to we are what we pay attention to, and I speak to that a lot. So I'm choosing to pay attention to that which serves me, which fills me, which makes me feel good. As I said many, many times, that when kids were in my class and they would naturally want to tattle in a negative way, I would say, you are what you pay attention to. Why would you want to see someone doing something wrong, telling me about it as if I'm going to reinforce that? I don't think that's a good thing. What I want for you is to feel better about yourself. So pay attention to that which is great. Let's celebrate that. It really changes everything. So it's knowing how to use your energy and then have some sort of discernment. Sometimes you need to be selective about who's worthy of your energy and who isn't. And you have to start by noticing how receptive someone is to your truth. And if you are both receptive, if you share something and you're both remaining open to it, then you can have a real open discussion. But if you can't say your truth about a particular subject, it doesn't mean that you don't hold that truth. It just means that you have enough intelligence and enough self-respect to know that this is not the place to share it. Now, there are times when you can have a very different point of view. Look at our political situation, and you can share. But at those times, I would say, let's start the conversation by either agreeing to disagree or start the conversation by saying, you know what, I'm open to learning one thing about all the things you have to say about your position, and I want you to be open to learning one thing about why I can feel the way I feel. So you can teach your children how to start to negotiate having difficult conversations by navigating certain kind of parameters in the beginning. And that would be so helpful in school when they have the debates, when you get into older grades and you have debates. When I was a kindergarten, first grade teacher, we found a dog, and my class wanted the dog as a class pet. And so I said to them, okay, you want the dog as a class pet? You have to write a letter in your own words, on your own, and read it to the principal. You have to be persuasive. And that was such a good exercise to learn. I have a point of view, and I could share my point of view. But before I did that, I made sure that my principal would be open to really listening. And then she had to explain to each child who read their point of view about why they should have a dog as a pet in school. She had to be open to explaining why that wouldn't work. And there were really good reasons. So even though they didn't get what they wanted, they did get a lot of useful learning opportunities by knowing that they had an opinion, by writing about it, by reading it, by being open to what the other person said. And that is not a waste of energy. That's not a waste of energy. But what is a waste of energy is if I am sharing something that really is no one's interest, then why am I doing that? It's just going to make me feel void. I'm just going to empty without getting filled up again. And it's not doing anything for the other person either. So teaching discernment, how do we save our energy so that we can be the most productive with it? How do we economize our words? If we overspeak, people stop listening. So let's see if this works for you in your parenting and in your teaching. And please feel free to write to me at learnwithmeremotely@gmail.com, and feel free to look at my author's page, Dr. Mindy Shaw, paperbacks at Amazon. Until next time, let's see how it feels and what we can observe when we economize our energy. Be well.